Welcome back to Strictly Casual. I'm one of your hosts, Vincent DeSantis, today joined by Ryder Maldonado, and I'm so excited because today we're donning the cowl, picking up our billy clubs, evading the task force, and talking about the follow-up to the acclaimed Netflix series, Daredevil: Born Again.
Here on the channel, we foster stimulating conversations about cherished video games and movies, and we talk about the stories that shaped us.
If you don't know, Daredevil: Born Again this show has been talked about for a long time. I mean, just to set the groundwork here, I would say I'm a big Daredevil fan.
Definitely.
Introduced through the Netflix show while I was in high school. The first show started 10 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's pretty wild how it's been it's a huge staple of comic book medium. Like it's a huge one. It's been going on for a long time.
I would say it wasn't necessarily groundbreaking at the time. There was already so much superhero media and stuff, but it was the first of the Netflix style of Marvel shows that they were doing that was disconnected from the other Marvel properties that they were doing.
Because they had ABC, they had the ABC shows, but I think this was like the highest caliber of television, I'd say, for Marvel.
Sure. I mean,
at the time.
They were just doing like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and what else were they doing on there?
I want to say that was like they had the one shots. It was like such an interesting time of external.
They're trying to tie it in and
stuff. Yeah.
Do you remember? This is a bit of a sidebar already, but like, do you remember in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. they were trying to tie it into Thor: The Dark World, and that was like the coolest thing ever to me.
Yes.
Like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome! What a great idea! It was running like parallel to the movie, so you would go see the movie, and then the next episode was like all tied in. I loved it.
Like recovery.
The movie was bad, but
and they teed it up to Age of Ultron like really well. Like the week before.
Yeah, it was a fun time.
Oh yeah, it was a good time. So back to your love with Daredevil.
Basically, we get 3 seasons of Netflix Daredevil. Just to throw it out there, I think the first season is incredible. The second season's okay, even though it's Elektra and Punisher, which are the highlights of that season. And the third season is probably my favorite Marvel thing that we have. Like I think about it more often than any of the mainline films, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, my memory on the original Daredevil is it's pretty unfortunately gone. Like I watched it when it came out, every single year it came out, and we binged through it. Me and my mom watched it all together. But I recently rewatched the first episode with Mark, and so we did like a little recap on that. And that brought me back and I was like, man, this is great stuff. But yeah, my memory of it is like I remember the Wonders. I remember the Daredevil monologue. I mean, the Punisher monologue. I remember his relationship with Elektra. But yeah, there's a lot of it that I don't really like. Even the third season, I don't remember what the conflict was.
Oh, the third season's so good. There's scenes of that show that I still get excited about. I think obviously all those Wonders, like the hallway Wonder in the first season, and then the third season, the prison fight that's like 14 minutes long or something insane like that. So to say the least, I've been extremely excited knowing that Charlie Cox is coming back as Daredevil, but it was going to be on Disney Plus, right? And there was a lot of conversation. How is this going to look? Is this going to be a sequel to the original show, or is it going to be its own complete thing that's not going to mention the previous, but still have Charlie Cox? Because we've seen this in the Marvel Cinematic Universe before, of like kind of the characters playing their role, but not really playing the same role. It's just their same character.
Because I don't know if they had introduced, if they said, oh yeah, Matt Murdock's going to be in other stuff too. Like, well, it was just She-Hulk. And at that point too, I don't know if this might be even way later than kind of the points that you're talking about. But like, it was like, oh, is he the same? Is he not the same? That was kind of our first introduction, not including the big cameo in No Way Home. That kind of blew everyone away.
It took them years to let us know that, oh yeah, this is actually going to be a sequel. But that is because at first it was not going to be the first kind of creative direction to this show, which we will get into in a bit. But first, a little synopsis of the show. We're going to get into all the beats of this show. And so if you haven't seen it, go watch the 8 or 9 episodes that it is, and then come back and check in with us because, we're going to be spoiling it completely. So,
and I will say, just real quick, Vince, he, for those of you that can't see, well, now you can see because the podcasts have a video. He's wearing his glasses, and I think I need my glasses because I'm a really good lawyer.
Looking like the 3 blind mice.
Right. These are the old ones. These are from the original season, but I just wanted to say that I'm a really good lawyer. Anyways, that's it. I can't see anything with those on.
Speaking of blind, Matt Murdock is a blind lawyer with heightened abilities and fighting for justice through his bustling law firm, while former mob boss Wilson Fisk pursues his own political endeavors in New York. When their past identities begin to emerge, both men find themselves on an inevitable collision course. That is the kind of where we set the stage here for this season of Daredevil.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of want to hear your initial thoughts, whether that's the entire season or pieces of the season. How is this leaving you?
Yeah, for sure. So getting into the show, I think the first couple of episodes really hooked me, and from my skewed memory as a little boy watching the original Daredevil, I thought yeah, when I was a little boy, yeah, that's no pun intended. I was like, okay, we're touching the quality that was the Netflix show, and I feel like we're getting to some place of what the original quality was, and I really enjoyed it. I think as the show went on, there were some episodes that felt a little, there were literal filler episodes, I'd say, and there were some storylines that came and went, and I know there's so much to get into. I know that this show was practically skeleton together, but by the time we get to the end, I had a great time, and I think the highlight for me was Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox, his performance. Right, you have all these great characters. You have Punisher coming back and Kingpin, but the highlight for me is Charlie Cox and his performance as Daredevil. Again, it's close to Netflix. It's not there because he's given some good stuff, but they gave him some things to get close to that, and I appreciate the efforts to get close to that. And Charlie Cox was a highlight for me, so I left satisfied. I left with a good meal in my stomach, but I was just kind of like, there was, it felt skeleton together. So my feelings were they were up and down throughout the season. What about you? How'd you feel?
I feel the same. I had so much confidence after the first 2 episodes. I was like, okay, like maybe they're going to pull this off. Like maybe this is going to be like incredible. Yeah. I'm texting people about it, and like I'm high on it because I've been worried. I've been so worried about this show. This character means a lot to me, and not just through the show, but through reading comics and just like knowing more about the character over the years too. This is my favorite superhero. This is the top. This is the peak for me
huge.
In terms of themes, what I like to watch in these types of movies and shows or read about, and just all of those things. This is what I'm looking for, this package, right? And so I was so excited for the first couple episodes, and then I started kind of questioning the direction through the middle of it, where it felt like pieces weren't necessarily thought about together, or some storylines aren't very fleshed out. But there's a couple things in here that really, really rubbed me the wrong way. But by the end of it, I will say that I had a good time. It wasn't bad by any means. It's not a bad show. It's just not a great show. And I think it's good. But the pieces that I loved were watching these characters again. I love Charlie Cox. I love Vincent D'Onofrio. I think they introduced a couple of cool characters in this also. John Bernthal back as the Punisher. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Foggy and Karen, like, it was good to see everybody again, right? And that's not just a nostalgia thing. I like watching these people on screen. These are great characters that they've built, and they're cool, right?
Yeah. And the thing that excites me now is for season 2, because if the season 1 kind of had a lot of reshoots and rewrites, and they still managed to pull it off in a way that, again, like you said, was good, I am excited for the quality that season 2 will bring, with a consistent direction, consistent story, and bringing back cast members. And it's like, cool, we know what to do. I hope that means season 2 is even better versus like, this was like, oh, we tried our best to put it together, but there was a lot of pre-production, like trying to get our footing with Netflix and everything of the Netflix show. And like, we're trying our best to connect it. And so I feel like the season 2 is on a hopefully better track and a better tee up.
I'm very hopeful for that as well. So let's talk a little bit about these creative changes before we go into the story, just so we lay the groundwork of what we're working with here. Okay, so this is all from a, Marvel insider person that's claiming that they know all about this, whatever that looks like, right? But we've read a lot of articles, a lot of news sites have covered this and stuff, so this is kind of what we're at. So what people seem to not realize about Born Again is that the show was never originally bad. There was a problem of lacking context to feel like a sequel to the Netflix show, but it was never bad in concept to do something different. While the Netflix show went more for a Brian Michael Bendis tone, Born Again wanted to go for something along the lines of Mark Waid comics. That means more jokes, but also using that to show Matt overcompensating for his depression. So Brian Michael Bendis wrote an incredible run of Daredevil, and so did Mark Waid. They're both very highly regarded. But yeah, completely different tones. Brian Michael Bendis, definitely a darker tone, more closer to the Netflix series. Mark Waid, more lighthearted and jovial. Also on this show, Brian Michael Bendis was a creative consultant. He has his own title card on this.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
Pretty cool. So the main issue, apparently, was that the scripts were not finished when it went into production. This was before the strikes, post-COVID era. So, I mean, when COVID was kind of wrapping up, it was like, we need to get these productions going because we have years of content that are like, you know, stalled out right now.
Right now, yeah.
Like we need to hit the ground running. So maybe they had a couple episodes written. They're like, let's just start filming. It's going to take a couple months to get this. Like by the time these get filmed, we'll have the next episode ready to shoot.
Yeah.
We'll get the permits signed and we're good to go. Let's make this happen. So with the Writers Guild strike happening, they could only shoot things as written, as they were already written, which caused John Berthnell, who signed onto the show, to walk off because of his issues with the Punisher arc scripts, like the specs. He didn't like what his character was, and John Berthnell was so attached to this character. He's like, I hate what they're doing. I don't think I want to be a part of this anymore. So he dips. He just leaves, which causes production to cease to a halt, with them only having 6 episodes shot of the original 18.
Wow.
So the only things that were shot were the White Tiger arc, the Breather Day in the Life episodes, which I'm assuming is the Bank episode.
Okay, yeah.
Is that what you mentioned as filler earlier too?
Yeah, I would say that's Day in the Life, and like saying filler, I don't mean like a negative connotation. Like it's literally a filler episode to, you know, a lot of TV shows do that to just kind of halt the plot a little bit. You know, you need a break in a week or something.
It is interesting that like within an 18 episode storyline, like, taking an episode to go to the bank, for the bank robber thing is super fun.
Yeah.
It's rough in these 9 episodes because you're like, wait, I already have so limited time with these people. That being said, I do like that episode. And that's one of the highlights of the show for me, but it does feel a little odd.
Because, it makes sense for, 22 episode seasons. Like, that's when you do a filler episode usually.
Right, yeah. White Tiger, we had that episode. The Muse arc was also shot, but nothing else. Okay. The rest of the story was not shot at all. So the strike ends, the writer's strike, and Marvel comes to these different conclusions. That the scripts that they hadn't shot yet have spiraled too out of control and need to be refined and scrapped pretty much because they don't like the direction that it's going. 2, they needed to make it feel more like a sequel to the Netflix show. And 3, they needed the cast to be enthusiastically on board with the show rather than only kind of on board and wanting changes. Because let's say our leads aren't very happy with the direction, they're not going to want to like go promote it and be proud of it and stuff. They're just going through the motions, right? They want we've seen how much Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox love these characters. So notably, John Berthnell, they needed him back too. And so they got a new showrunner for the show, which was actually from the first season of The Punisher and not from the beginning of the Daredevil show, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So to wrap this all up, the changes weren't really about undoing what had already been filmed, but like contextualizing the entire show to make it fit more with Netflix. It's not like they reshot everything. They just brought on a new creative team, which shot pieces on top of what had already been done.
Sure, yeah.
They weren't going to waste White Tiger, and they weren't going to waste Muse and stuff like that. That's a
lot of ad-libbing, I noticed. I mean, what are the ADR? A lot of ADR, I feel like.
There was a lot of ADR.
It's noticeable too. And I notice ADR is oftentimes to one, like production, you don't have time, you don't have scheduling, so you go in after the fact, or you make the story more clear. You know, maybe there's some things where it's like, wait, why are these two characters here? They, when they're turning, it's like, they have to say, so this is why we're here. Like, it's a clarity.
They cut away and somebody says something off camera and stuff. So
there was a lot of that in this.
To boil it down, episodes 1, 8, and 9 are entirely reshot from the original direction. And episodes 2 through 7, the middle of the show, are the original show mixed with varying degrees of reshoots to make sure that 1, 8, and 9 flow together, right? And anything with Foggy, Karen, and Frank are reshoots because they were not brought back originally. So those were an afterthought, basically, that were added, which is unfortunately the strongest part of the show, to me.
Which makes me like shocked because writing in general is incredibly hard. It is probably, I mean, it's like, you could say what is the hardest part of production, but from my point of view, I will say writing seems like the hardest for this to make the script work. And so when you have 8 and 9 with a task force, you have a character, the Punisher, you have, all these characters returning from the Netflix series, and then you have all these little plot lines of side characters and blackmail and all that. To make that fit in the show, I think it's like they did a pretty good job, because didn't they set up the task force in the season? Like, it wasn't in episode 1, right? It was like in 2 or 3 where he was like
within.
So, some of those things were like, okay, how do we introduce these guys? How do we introduce that plot point?
Yeah.
You do it like that,
I'm with you. I think given the circumstances, I think this was better than expected, given these circumstances, for sure. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about Daredevil and Kingpin.
Okay,
This season is built around the duality of both of them. They are, I would say, they're very equal characters in this. It's not like Kingpin is the bad guy and Daredevil is the good guy. Maybe there's a little bit of black and white there, but it's not as clear in this season to try to make it interesting. They have very equal time for most of the season, I would say.
Often in the editing too. Their motivations is very split cut to, if it's obvious, I know that it's kind of obvious when it's like the things they're going through are the same, but they make it, they're a parallel force to each other, right?
They're parallel even down to like the climax of a character, turning points of the character happens at the same time for each of them, to where they literally cut back and forth between them, having like some sort of epiphany or a trial that they were going through, right? So we start off and Foggy dies. Okay. What was your reaction to this?
Well, initially it was, of course, sadness, but I wasn't that much connected because it had been so long since I'd seen them. Okay. So it was more of a questioning thing. Like, if you're going to do this, I hope that we're going down that darker path. Of course, like maybe I should have known, well, we're not going that direction of darker. We're just kind of staying the lighthearted. But I think I was kind of shocked and kind of just dumbfounded. Yeah. Is that the word? Like, just like, wait, why? Like, what is happening? Like,
it's a shocking start.
Yeah. And part of me is thinking, well, could it be that shock factor of like, look, we're back. You get an incredible action scene, villains return. And it's like we're holding everything. We're not holding back, but we're saying goodbye to that chapter of Netflix. Like, I know that's the story of Daredevil, but part of me also feels like, from a production standpoint, from the meta side of it, it's like, no, this is a goodbye to Nelson and Murdoch, the Netflix. This is a hello to a new. And then after that, they introduced Matt Murdock with his new partner lawyer. Yeah. Which her name was, I have it, IMDb, Kristen McDuffie. So it was Murdoch and McDuffie. And they introduced that. And that's what I thought from it. So confusion. I don't know. How did you feel about it?
Well, which is also, in the comics, that's a real law firm that they set up in San Francisco for a certain run of the comics.
Oh, okay, sweet.
And of course, it's Matt Murdock. So of course he has a love affair with these people, because Matt Murdock, this guy gets around. Okay.
He does.
I don't know. I think it's a bit of a character flaw. Okay. This guy's.
Man, he's not blind. Let's just say that.
No. He is not blind. I thought, well, obviously sad that they killed Foggy, right? I think they had to come out bold and strong here in the first episode and try to make a real threat. And I thought it's interesting. Apparently, he was supposed to die off screen in the original version of this, and that would have not hit. That would have been really unsatisfying.
Absolutely.
So I loved Bullseye also. Bullseye is so good in season 3 of Daredevil. I'm so glad he's back and doing his thing here. So yeah, that's really cool to me.
Yeah, he's a weapon to be used. But like you're saying about, episodes 1, 8, and 9, how those are the original, you do feel that, especially when it comes to Foggy, because he is felt throughout. Matt does suffer with his loss. He thinks about that throughout the whole show. So I can't say he's forgotten, because he's not. But I feel like they make more of a point of the why. It's like he's killed. Why? You'll find out in episode 8 and 9, which maybe a little more.
The very end of the show.
Yeah, the very end. And which is great. It's so good. The reveal of Vanessa and everything. But yeah, I was like, it's like we felt him. We felt his presence, but maybe more. I would have liked more of the mystery solving aspect of him. Yeah. But that's a little thing. It's very minor. Like, I don't. It's fine.
So we're building up Daredevil's side of this.
Yeah.
And we'll build up Kingpin's in a sec.
Yeah.
But Daredevil deals with Foggy's death and throws Bullseye off the building as I'm gonna kill you, right?
Yeah,
and Daredevil doesn't really do that. He doesn't kill. He's not like the Punisher. He's, maybe beat someone within an inch of death, but he does not kill people, right? That's
you beat them, they get back up. I beat them, and they stay down. Classic line.
Exactly. So he stops being Daredevil. He's like, it's just too much for me to handle, right? And it takes him a long time to get back to that. So that's where we have Daredevil for over half this season-ish, I would say. Then we have Kingpin, who, if you haven't watched Hawkeye?
Yeah, both Hawkeye and Echo. No, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, so between these Daredevil seasons, he's been in the show, and you're like, what the hell? Like why? What is he doing? Is this a canon thing? Like, is this canon to the Netflix stuff?
Yeah, remember, folks, he was shot in the head, shot in the skull, and all that's left is just one tiny little scar, even though... That's it. They did the eye patch classic, comic book cover for a little bit, but like his eyes, both of them are fine. Which is crazy.
Just a completely miraculous health piece right there. But so he's had a long stint of recovery from getting shot in the head, and he's okay now. But within this time, his wife Vanessa has taken over all of the operations as the mob boss. She's taking care of the duties, making money, doing side deals, doing crime. Okay. Fisk returns, and he's not super stoked about this. He's like, I'm going to run for mayor. And that's all you get.
Yeah, do we know why? And this is just me thinking out loud and trying to remember the whole thing. Yeah. Kingpin's motivations throughout this season were, toward the beginning, of course, lost on me, and then toward the half, it's like, this is I get why you're doing what you're doing, but why did he run for mayor? Why did he say...
I'm with you. I don't think there's a great reason why he runs for mayor. It's not like he wants to be...
Yeah.
I mean, that's his side of this, is I don't think he really wants to go like clean per se, but he's not evil throughout most of the show.
Yeah,
he's not a good guy, but he's not evil.
No, yeah.
And that's kind of his switch later on in the show, obviously, to get back to his normal self. Yeah. But it's not like you believe that he's going clean, that he's gonna be on the up and up and be a great mayor for New York City. Like, you never really know what his motivation is for doing that, besides just he likes power.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because it goes into, the what's it called? The archetype of the corrupt politician. And so it's like playing into that versus bad crime lord. Like it's a different character that he's playing, versus political power is such a different aspect versus physical. Like he's mentally intimidating more in this season, I think. He's more of,
I would agree,
using the tabloids, using publicity, using the young guy Gandolfini's character to get at the people and gain power in the city through that. And then I think he makes the shift to outlaw vigilantes, which I think is a good move. I mean, if your arch nemesis is Daredevil, it's like, look, I'm gonna make all vigilantes seem bad. What are you gonna do now? Put him in a tough spot.
So that's the build on each side. We have Daredevil, who's not Daredevil, and the entire arc is for him to kind of become Daredevil again. Yeah. And Kingpin is not evil. He's just a guy.
He's a guy.
And his arc is to become evil, right? And so these are happening at the same time. It's like the opposite of what we know of these characters. And they both have this peaked moment that breaks them over the edge to Daredevil becomes Daredevil again, and Kingpin becomes Kingpin again. They both become their selves at the end of this.
And is that the Hector Ayala story? Well, no. I mean,
I think it's time to get into Hector Ayala. Yeah.
Yeah, this was my favorite arc, little storyline of the entire show, because we get the courtroom drama and a good one at that, because I love when superheroes get serious. That's why I still love Captain America Civil War, because the dialogue, the conversation about heroes and vigilantes, it's so ridiculous in an incredible way that, they take it so serious. And I love that when writers and shows take things seriously. So Hector Ayala is a vigilante, and he's essentially framed for the murder. Yeah, no, he is framed for the murder of a corrupt cop that was attacking a drug dealer in the subway. And so there's a huge case because these cops are corrupt. They have the power here. They're trying to put Hector Ayala away. And he just also so happens to be a vigilante, which is what encouraged him to take action and save an innocent person because he didn't know who that person was. He just stood in the way. He knew they were being attacked. A cop died, and now he's in a courtroom case. But Matt Murdock is there to be his lawyer. So yeah, what do you think about these scenes? What do you think about the courtroom?
No, this is totally, in my opinion, is the strongest part of the show. And okay, I think I've said that about a couple things during this, but I do think that this
it's different strong parts.
Actually, the most like, it felt weighty. It felt important. The themes were there for me. We saw Matt Murdock back in the courtroom defending, and it's incredible. Like, that's like the most juice this show has is in its dialogue, and not all of it. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying Daredevil as a whole. Like a lot of peak moments are in its dialogue, and so this like furthered that. There's a scene, I think it's episode 2 or 3, where basically Matt Murdock shows to the court that Hector Ayala is White Tiger and reveals his identity because that is going to get him a lot more defense, goodwill from other people in the jury. They're going to know all the good things he did. How could he have done this bad thing if he's done all this good stuff? If he puts his neck on the line for all these people. Yeah. That scene is so good because you know of the disappointment of Hector. You know it's the only way that Hector's going to be okay when you're going against the law of New York. It's so good and it's built fantastic. Everybody's acting their asses off here. Like, it's so good. And you just have a lot of criticisms of themes, of the corruption and stuff that's strongest here. We'll get into that a little bit more with Punisher, I would say, down the line. But Hector's character's fantastic for this show. I wish this was more of the show.
No, absolutely. I mean, even the actor too, like, it's so sad that he passed, that, you know, in real life, the actor passed. And I remember him from, he played Menendez from Call of Duty Black Ops. That's where I knew him from. He was a good voice actor.
No way.
Yeah, he's the ultimate Call of Duty villain. So I always thought of him like that. Yeah, and so
I did not know that.
Very unfortunate to hear that. But yeah, I just agree tenfold on everything you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's so good. There's also another part I want to talk with you about here. Is within this, Matt Murdock is asked to represent someone that has stolen a bag of cereal or a box of cereal from a little, I don't know.
Yeah, convenience store.
Convenience store. Bodega, if you will.
A bodega,
and this has not been his first offense for, different things that he's done against the law, whatever. But he has this monologue where he explains to Matt Murdock that there is no way for him to fully rehabilitate, basically. Yeah. Because of the system. Like, the system's so against him that even if he wanted to do, or he would try to be better and do something and not, steal this box of cereal or whatever, but he's always going to be punished back to where he is, and there's just no way for him to climb out of it. And it's this great scene where Matt Murdock's like, well, did you steal it? Like, basically, like, did you take it? Like, how am I going to defend this if it's just this black and white? And the guy's like, it's just not that black and white, and has this full like scene explaining. And that is so good. I don't know how that made it into this show. Like,
true. Good point. Yeah.
Like, that is so different than what we get afterwards with 3 episodes of Muse that have a good fight scene and that's it. Like,
I mean,
nothing of value.
Again, I want to come back to the convenience store and that guy, but yeah, with Muse, like, again, they could have touched on so many more things because, like, I mean, he seemed mentally ill, and then he's talking to a therapist, and I felt like all it was
good setup.
It's good setup, and he's like, I'm obsessed with the therapist, and then he dies moments later from the attack scene. So it's like, oh man, there's so much we could have got into with the crux of Muse and the mentality of this guy, because like the characters, I feel like there's so much more to him, but
it kind of goes right into Muse that this moment where Matt Murdock becomes Daredevil again is because Muse kidnaps Hector Ayala's niece.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who actually is another version of White Tiger in the comics. That was told to me by Steve. She's the main White Tiger. She's the main. Okay, there you go. So she takes. It's because of the pendant that he wears. It's a magical pendant that gives you the powers. Comic book stuff. So
I mean, I've played Marvel Snap. It's her on the thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I think it was one of the showrunners or the executive producers. Please correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. That was saying that we were gonna have a scene where she gets close to the pendant, or that she takes the pendant from the evidence bag after Hector dies. But that was changed. But again, set up. It could be a Young Avenger type vibe. I don't know.
Totally. But, I mean, why not?
Why not?
Add more. We already have her storyline built. I would say they were already like empathetic towards her character and stuff. I feel like that would be good. Like I don't see why not.
Yeah.
But yeah, going into Muse. So yeah, Muse kidnaps the niece. I forget her name. I should just have IMDb up here to look at it. But this is when
Angela
Matt Murdock.
There you go. Angela.
Thank you. Matt Murdock decides that he's going to suit up and save her because he knows where she's been, and Muse is the serial killer on the loose. And I think that moment is supposed to feel like so epic when he suits up and goes to fight Muse and save her, right?
Yeah.
I was so let down by this writer.
Okay,
this is my big. I think this moment of the show broke me of like, oh man, this could be really great, and it's not hitting for me. I think that it's great that he went and saved her.
Of course.
And I think it's a great fight scene down there in the subway. One of the better ones in the whole show.
Yeah.
But the buildup was not there. It was like 1 second Matt Murdock decided he wasn't Daredevil, and then he's like, okay, well, I gotta save her. Like, let's go. Here we go. But the scene before, or the episode before that, he was in the bank fighting guys, saving the bank tellers. And obviously that was a situation that he couldn't have, he didn't put himself in, that happened to him. But I was like, this is supposed to be the big turn where he decides to be this symbol again. And it just happens. Yeah. And there's no build for me. It was so disappointing.
And two, I mean, it could also go, is this the moment where he says F it, where he's like thinking, contemplating, goes F it, and then he puts on the suit, and that was kind of
so.
If that was like, oh man, maybe it's like, you're going to say, like, it's just like an F it moment, like, I guess,
is it an F it moment? Like, it means so much.
I know it means so much, so I'm with you where it's like, it has that build up, and then it's just like I'm going to do it. I mean, not that he was kind of having that, but, it's just, it needs to be like putting on the cowl should be so serious for him, which I know Matt it was. I'm not saying it wasn't.
Is not written well in this show.
Yeah.
I think I like watching Charlie Cox play Daredevil, but he's not given much in this. But that is his turning point, was when she gets kidnapped, and we just have to deal with that. That's fine. He's Daredevil again, whatever. So let's go on the flip of Kingpin now. Kingpin, what do you think his turning point was in this? From I'm gonna be the mayor to I'm gonna be evil Kingpin again.
Okay, so for me, what I think of Kingpin in the Switch was because of Vanessa's little booth hang, or little side piece that she had, and how he kept him trapped in there. I think the eating dinner and holding him alive was his reasoning to be like, look, I'm being good. I'm not instantly just killing you as I would have from my Netflix self. I'm gonna keep you alive, and I'm gonna keep you alive here, and I'm gonna bring Vanessa into this, and I'm gonna say, look, if we want to do this, there's only one way out of it, which is such a crazy mentality thing to say. Like, he needs to go away. He needs to go away forever. We need to kill him. Like, it's just so, I mean, it's just like, that's such a Kingpin thing. You know what I mean? Right. I think when she kills him, when Vanessa kills her guy that she was, having an affair with, because they work together.
I think that's after.
I think it's after. Okay. Well, let me tell you why. I think that is because that while his violence comes out, I think more of he needed Vanessa's approval, and I feel like it's more of an enabling, and that's like, great, I can shine. Yes, I am a violent, and yes, I don't need your permission to be this way. But that just said, I want to be this with you. I want to be like this with you. Let's do this together. And I think after that, they kind of were reigning together. And that's the switch for him. He needed her approval. He needed her by her side. That's what I felt. What did you feel?
I totally agree. I totally agree, because I think that was missing for me for a while, where in the last seasons he would do anything to protect Vanessa and have Vanessa be on his side, and now Vanessa's kind of not on his side, because she's running everything and he's just doing this mayor thing, and she feels like disconnected for him too. And so the way that, yeah.
And I'll say this quick. I was so worried that if they were going to separate them, like make them at odds or enemies, I was like, oh my, I thought she hired a hit on him, which I feel like
she did.
Was that a hit, or was it just to lie to the guy to get him killed? Like, did she know that Fisk would have Buck there with him? That's what I was confused on. I didn't know if she was actually hiring a hit on her husband, because I'm like, oh my God.
What you freaking described right now is way more interesting than what happens. How cool would it be if they were actually against each other? Like, and that was like, that led him to go evil again.
I agree. It would make, but for me, I always thought that they're like, you can't separate, like, it'd be like story writing. You couldn't, I'd be like, these guys, this isn't the characters. It is Wilson Fisk and Vanessa. He loves her. Like, they're together forever. Like, there's no comic book storyline.
What they did is pretty interesting, though. Where Vanessa like hires Bullseye to kill Foggy because Foggy knows too much about these docs and stuff. You know, whatever. We'll get there. Yeah. But okay, going back to Kingpin's change, I think he changes when he takes Vanessa's boot thing out the cage, slams him around, you know, and that's like this first violent thing he does through the first 7 episodes or whatever.
My father.
But
he says,
my disappointment is 2 major things of this show. Number 1 is that Daredevil thing. There's no build. He just becomes Daredevil again, and there's no weight and no heaviness, no nothing about it. He just does it. And Kingpin, it's the mayor thing. Why did he want to become mayor? Is he trying to be good? It's so ambiguous that I was hoping that there was some sort of answer to like what he's doing during that period. Because it's just so unclear. There's no answer, and there's no satisfying thing. He's just going to be Kingpin again. But what was he doing for those 7 episodes? Why did he even make those decisions? I just simply don't know. It's not like,
Well, and to go with that point, too, he tells her, he's like, well, maybe, like, this is what I got from, there was a scene where they're sitting on the bed together. It was like one of the second or third closer to the end where it's like, maybe we can both do both. We can be a Kingpin, we can be criminal with my power of mayor. And I was like, okay, now it's clear. But like, you weren't thinking this originally. You weren't trying to be corrupt. Like, you were trying to just get up as a good mayor. Like, I thought you were trying to be a criminal too. He was like, no, I'll be good. Vanessa, you run the docks. You run the criminal organization. Vanessa. And now he's like, maybe we can do it together and we can use me as a mayor. I'm sitting there like, duh.
Like, isn't that kind of what's happening right now? Like, you're just explaining this to us. Okay, that's fine. I liked the characters that surrounded Kingpin in this season, though. I liked Vanessa. I think Vanessa was good. But we have a couple new characters that I thought were standouts, okay? We have the kind of, I don't know what her role was. Maybe political official, like advisor, person right under Kingpin. This girl, the campaign manager, even.
It was Sheila Rivera.
She was fantastic. I thought she gave a great performance of being scared of Fisk, but also trying to be like, this is just how things go. Like, you can't change this. If you're here, this is how we run things. This is how we do things. I thought she was great. And then you also have Michael Gandolfini, who plays Daniel Blake. And Daniel, I thought he was great too, because he's playing this like mini Kingpin of like looking up to Kingpin and finding this, he knows what people might like in Kingpin. So he finds a way to be like a campaign marketer, and goes from marketing Kingpin to winning the election to now being like right under Kingpin.
Assistant mayor or adjunct mayor, I forget that term. Quote, he said, "I will burn for you," which is
he's very dramatic.
Like, dude, what? That's crazy. You'd probably die for him. I think that's.
So I thought he was great as well. Great addition to the show. And then BB Ulrich. Okay.
Yes.
And let's get into BB Ulrich a little bit. They start showing this news stuff, like the kind of documentary style filmmaking that she has for her like blog and stuff. Which, fun fact, they actually hired a small indie crew, and all those people that they interviewed are actual New York people. And they just like fed them lines to say and stuff, so that it kind of gave a real, I don't know,
really cool,
good feel to it. Yeah, I thought that's awesome.
And stuff like this, again, is like cool. Separate the show, make it unique, and something that like, when it first happened, I'm like, oh, I hope this comes back. And the fact that it kept coming throughout the show to get the city's thoughts on things is like, thank you. I love certain like ground level. Like it's not just the heroes up in the
Yeah, it makes
sky
it feel
fighting.
real.
Yeah, there's people reacting to everything that's happening of these
Yeah.
these titans of characters. So
Right.
yeah, BB is connected to an original character from the Netflix series, not an original, but a character from the Netflix series. Or I forget. I mean, is it BB the initials? Like it's kind of same name. A former journalist.
Ben something. Ben Ulrich or something.
Yeah, Ben, we'll just say that. Yeah.
He's a journalist, and Karen and Matt have like a really close relationship with him.
And he was unfortunately taken out by Kingpin, choked out
by Kingpin.
Because of it was the first couple of episodes, I believe so, right? Like where we were like just introduced to the nature of Kingpin and like, oh, this guy.
I think it was later because he's pretty important. He's pretty important in the show. They use him a lot to distribute information about people, or they give him files like from their lawyer thing, and he's able to, publish them on journalistic websites and stuff, and take people down. Like he's used kind of as a way to have justice happen without Daredevil punching somebody in the face. And he's a really cool character in that way, kind of keeping Matt Murdock in check.
So when we meet BB, I thought she was a cool character initially. And I was curious about how they would use her because, well, of course, while they had her, the BB report, they had her working. I mean, she was being manipulated a lot and threatened a lot by Daniel Blake, Michael Gandolfini a lot. And I was like, oh man, like I hope she gets out of this alive. I hope she survives. I hope they don't do the same thing. But when I find out that toward the end, the ballroom episode, the big ball episode, when she's actually like taking advantage, she's the one in the power here. She's the one taking advantage of these guys to get information to take them down. It's like, oh, the whole time. Thank you. She had her motivation of, no, I've been doing this the entire time. Like
it's cool.
Yeah. Doing puff pieces about the mayor just because I'm going to take them down eventually. I'm going to get my revenge for was it her uncle?
Her uncle's death.
Uncle. Yeah. So it's like, that was a cool reveal. And
I agree. That was cool. I liked that a lot. And she's trying to take down some of these corrupt police officers, which we've had this kind of through line for. Do you want to talk about the task force a little bit?
Yeah, so these guys, I mean, this is a pretty serious thing because of they're flaunting around they're corrupt cops and they flaunt around the Punisher logo on their bullet casings, on their vests, and they kind of have this mantra of the Punisher vibe. Now these guys are responsible for the death of Hector Ayala. They're responsible for a lot of brutal things to random characters throughout the show, and there's no
in the last episode they just shoot someone. They just shoot someone, and they're like they pull his beanie down. And they're like,
vigilante now.
Like, I don't know, and then when they leave.
Yeah, it goes to show, like with the power of Kingpin, like that they could get more. I hope it's like go deeper into that about how their violence is becoming more enabled by Kingpin. Yeah. Like I mean he has a great line to the commissioner. The guy I'm referring to, sorry, his name is
so good. He's so good.
Powell, played by Hamish Allen Headley. Powell, he's like of course he had the New York accent, so he's kind of had this.
Of course,
cool. But he's like, what are you gonna do about it, Commissioner? I work for Kingpin. I work for the mayor now. I have the power here. Like, I can do anything about it. And it's like, oh, that mentality, that power,
sorry, Powell. You're talking about the head of the task force.
Yeah,
sorry, not the commissioner.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh yeah. He's
Commissioner's
cool
different character. Who's really good. Yeah.
So just the free reign to do whatever. So this task force is taking advantage of the Punisher, and of course not to jump ahead too much, but there is confrontation with the Punisher, which it's like so satisfying. I was hearing, the rumbling on Twitter's was like, I hope the Punisher confronts these guys and they kind of get this closure about like, y'all are not the same in this here. Y'all aren't the same.
This is such an interesting topic because it was kind of ballsy, I would say, that Marvel did this.
Yeah.
Because it is a symbol that is used in military, sometimes police officers or whatever. And it's so interesting because like the character itself, the Punisher, would hate that. Like that is nothing that the character stands for, but he's used as like, it's like a cool symbol. It's a badge to, do justice however justice happens. But that's not really what it means. And so I loved that the Punisher was in this as much as he was. I wish that he was in it more because, in my opinion, it would have been more interesting to save Muse for his own season, to have something to flesh out as like a great villain, and just nail down this task force thing with this theme.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because like, you know, looking up, about the meaning of the symbol, like, of course, like a quick Google search, take it out like you will, about the aggressive approach to combat, punishing enemies. And so when you think of Punisher, like you're saying, sorry, I don't want to repeat, but Punisher, his violent nature is so like almost out of his control. He's gone so far down the line that he's, he's just stuck in it. And also part of him wants to do it. Like he is such a complex, in-depth character.
He's such a fantastic character. Yeah.
He's because he has this hatred because of his family's death. And then he has that line where he says, I hear my son. I hear Billy. Or isn't Billy his son? I thought Billy was.
I don't know, yeah.
Anyway, he says, I hear him. He says, get him, Daddy, get him. And like, so this
which
forever
messed up.
Oh, it's so like insane. This forever nature of I need to get those that wrongfully took, and wrongfully hurt. So when corrupt cops in the show are flaunting his name and they say, look, we're using aggressive nature, we're taking out vigilantes, it's like, you guys are a bunch of clowns. Right. It's so great. Again, John Bernthal, so incredible. And the Punisher character is so complex that when you put him with Matt Murdock, another incredibly complex character, it makes for some of the best. I mean,
they're fantastic.
In general, like not just in this show.
Do you know how much dopamine hit I get when Punisher calls Daredevil Red?
Oh,
like, I could listen to that all day. That's fantastic.
Yeah, just do it, Red. You just do it, man. Come on, Red. It's like, oh man, what are you, nightgown hero? I'm like, come on, dude. These guys are great.
I think it's fair to get into this finale a little bit here.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that apartment scene?
Yeah. Okay. So here's what I'll say initially. I couldn't see anything. Foggy as heck. Foggy came back from the dead because the color grading was foggy.
I agree. I don't have the greatest TV. I don't have an OLED TV, so it's like, it's like you need a perfect setup to be able to really see everything that's going on. It was a little disappointing, but it was a good scene.
Well, I see online for many different shows how people like to do their own color grading to like matching this show to Netflix or matching this to the HBO Max color grading. I'm like, I wish I would have seen it clear, but that's just a funny nitpick. I don't really care about.
Eventually, you'll see it clear.
Eventually, I'll see it clear. That's why what we're basically getting into. This is all a crux to get physical media. No,
that's true.
Anyways,
get that physical media.
Okay, for real though. I mean, look, it's incredible to see these two guys fight together.
It's awesome.
And again, the combat is great because you have Daredevil using his tricks, using his. What is it? His Bollywood stick? His stick? What is it?
Billy clubs.
Billy clubs, yeah, where they have kind of the retractable,
like
a grapple hook on it, and
which we never really saw in the other Daredevil show.
No, you're right.
He was swinging with those guys in this, which was sick. Like I loved it. He does that in the comics all the time, so it was cool to see it.
Yeah, and so he gets into it. I mean, I thought it was like most of the fight scenes in this. It was like great stuff, and I was like. Like a lot of the blood and a lot of the violence I felt like was kind of like hidden in a way. It's like, look, we have it, but also, I don't know, we're kind of like angles and stuff like that. I don't know. What are you getting at with
my thoughts on this, Ryder, I hate that this show and Echo in particular were marketed to be like TVMA. It has blood. We're going to say swear words. Like, that is going to draw you in. It's like, no, it's not going to draw me in. They do with Deadpool and Wolverine too. It's like, Wolverine can say the F word in this movie, so you're going to buy a ticket, right? Like, that's what's going to happen.
It's
like
funny.
Those things are just like kind of innate to the character. So it's kind of a weird thing. It's like, oh, you want to see blood? You gotta watch Daredevil. There's gonna be blood. And sure, maybe that works for some people, but it makes so many headlines, and it's like, okay, yeah, there's gonna be fight scenes with blood, like sure, but it doesn't matter. None of that stuff lasts. It's all headlines. The story that these take place in is the thing that matter.
Yeah,
the thing that matters, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Like I thought of two things right now. You make such a great point because those, like you said, those characters have it in them. Like the violence of certain characters is a part of them. Daredevil saying the F-bomb every once in a while, I mean, all the time, is like that's part of him. And you have comics and you have graphic novels like that needs to be included. If it's like, hey, we're gonna have this, it's like, well, I would hope so. I would hope so. Yeah. Be violent. And then so a scene from the Netflix show that I'm thinking about is when the final moment, I do remember this, where Daredevil's punching out Kingpin and he's holding himself back from killing him. So it's a so very violent scene, but there's so much. The punches, I mean, yes, it's violent kind of gratuitously, but it's also like the blood's going on the white painting. He's trying to hold himself back from killing him. He screams in agony, and it's a violent scene, but there's so much depth and purpose behind it because
it's not like Netflix was.
He's cracking,
Netflix wasn't saying you got to watch this show. It's really bloody. It's like no, it's fine. It's like this. I don't know. It bothers me to a certain extent.
No,
but you're talking about comics, and you're talking about characters, and you're talking about the task force and this apartment scene. I want to talk about a character here that's not getting enough love. Okay.
Yeah.
Because in this show, I don't think he deserves the love. But anyways, Cole North. Cole North is a part of this task force, okay? He's mentioned by name a couple times. They call him North a few times. And he's a very important character in the comic books. Some comic books. More this recent run. Zdarsky and Marco, I'm going to butcher his last name, Cicchetto, I want to say. Yeah, Cicchetto. I think Marco Cicchetto. He's the artist.
Oh, you got him? You got him ready, or you're waiting for it? You're gonna show him?
Oh no, I got it. I got it. I'll bring up the source material right here. I got one of these.
There we go. We got
trade
the source
paperback
material
of Daredevil: End of Hell. This is the fourth something. I don't know what issue we're gonna be looking at.
With the Stars Unlimited card as a bookmark, mind you. Yes, everybody.
I use all my bulk as bookmarks. Okay. So up to the screen here, I have some comic pages. As you can see, this guy who I'm holding up here. As an audio listener, you wouldn't probably hear him, but he plays a character that is an ally to the Punisher and to Daredevil. He's someone that fights corruption within the police force itself. He's someone that really, he comes from Chicago, and from Chicago, something happened. Like he did something that didn't align with the police force or something, and he's transferred into the NYPD and stuff. And he's a foe to Daredevil very shortly, I would say. Like trying to find out why Daredevil killed someone or something like that, right? But quickly he becomes an ally and someone that Daredevil can talk to for inside information, even though Cole North is still like a part of the police department. But Cole is also like, destroying corruption within the department and stuff, which is great. And he's a fantastic character. He's really well-rounded and well-written and very interesting in this story. And in this season, he's just like thrown in as a task force guy. I'm like, if you're going to put him in, let's make him important. And at the end, he gets blown up in Matt's apartment. I'm sure he's going to be alive and have more of a storyline or something. But I think he survived that because you would not introduce that character with all the stuff that he does and not have him be a part of something. You even have in the ballroom, you have close-up shots of him. Like next to Kingpin, you're like, why is there close-ups? If you're watching this with no idea who the character is, it's like random it's just a task force guy. I don't know. It's like you would have thought that they would have just put the main task force guy next to Kingpin instead of Cole North. So I think they're going to do something with him. It would make sense to me. But I was like, I don't know, teased with his appearance in this. I was like, oh, wow, this could be a great place to put him in with all this like Punisher corruption stuff happening in the police force.
It also makes me think of characters like Crossbones, who has been seen a lot in the original, where there are, these well-written side characters that it takes so much time to flesh them out. And that, you would hope that maybe a season 2, he gets those moments to shine, but that there's so many side characters, there's so many well-written side characters that they unfortunately take the sideline to the main characters' arcs. That's just what came to mind, but it's a great point to bring up. Thanks for bringing that up.
It's interesting. This also brings me to, after this scene, we have a couple more things I want to hit on before we wrap this guy up. And that's Karen. Karen comes back in this last episode. How do you feel about her relationship with Daredevil and her relationship with the Punisher?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we brought her up because Deborah Ann Wall, I mean, just performance-wise, she's the best. She's so incredible. I just love watching her on the screen. She's such a great character with Daredevil and the Punisher, and such a good leveling out for them too. Again, it's just timing. I really wish we had more timing because
me too.
She is the voice of reason. She's the voice of confidence. She's the voice of positivity for both of these guys that are suffering at different degrees, but in their own way that are so intense. And I wish we got more of her throughout the show. I'm curious as to why you would take her out when it would be crazy. Well, I know it's kind of a replacement. Maybe Heather's kind of that type of character for Matt, but to have her talking through the choices that he's making about putting on the suit versus not putting it on, I think you need it. Yeah, you need her there. You need that.
You need that character in it. And so I loved it at the end. And so she has this very close relationship with Punisher through the Punisher show. Where, like love interest type vibe, right? And you've also gotten the Karen, Matt Murdock love interest type vibe in the Netflix show. And they have that conversation in the room, like, oh, how fast was the heart? You noticed how fast my heart was beating and stuff?
Yeah.
And then he's like, I also noticed when you saw me. And she's like, oh, like whatever the line was. I don't know.
I love you both. I love you guys. Like,
but it's so good. Like that is like, those three are fantastic. And the show, I want them to be front and center in this next season. I'm so hopeful for an improvement on the next season.
And of course, for me, coming from the guy that always takes little things, little hints and blows it up out of proportion, I feel like it would be, we got the army, he said, we're going to need an army. And the final sequence says we're hearing Radiohead, everything in its place.
God, what a great, let's talk about that.
Yeah. Great. I mean, the song choice, they used it in the movie The Creator, which that was a beautiful scene from, what's his name? Oh man, the director of Rogue One.
Yeah, Gareth Edwards.
That song, Gareth Edwards. Thank you. Anyway, so they brought it back here. Instantly when I heard, I'm like, oh my God. Like,
it's a fantastic song to use.
Yeah. You use it and instantly the quality of anything you edit to it is like raised, and they do a montage edit to it. But I thought that was great. So the army that Matt Murdock is kind of cooking up is some of his friends, his companions, and some of the side characters that were introduced throughout the show, like Detective Angie Kim, who I was like, oh, she's back from the bank robbery episode. Then you have Cherry. Yeah. You have Cherry, who's his like private investigator friend. Right? He's a private investigator. Is it right?
Oh yeah.
Cherry, his buddy.
I love that.
And
guy.
And then you have Karen, and then you have I don't remember who else was in the scene.
It's it's in Josie's bar.
It's Josie's
right?
bar, so she's there
Josie
too.
was
She's
there.
like, Josie was there. She's part of the army. I all that to say, I think that it would be cool that they also, again, bring back the Defenders, and this is the whole army that kind of goes against the ultimate kingpin villain. But we'll see how that goes. But
there's a pretty good. So okay, this run that Zdarsky wrote, right, ends with Devil's Reign, which is this event where Kingpin is mayor. Obviously, Kingpin has already been mayor a lot of times. This is like that original Born Again story where he is the mayor. But he is mayor in this sense, and he hires he has a task force to take out vigilantes or whatever. But Luke Cage runs as mayor against Fisk, and it's awesome. It's so cool.
Wow, yeah.
I think he does become mayor in that.
Wow. Okay.
And it's very big epic action. They have so many heroes, it's way blown up, and it won't be that blown up in this. But that storyline's pretty good. It's pretty, for having a lot of characters in it, it's pretty good. So
yeah.
I can see them going that direction for sure.
What I'm curious now is because literally some of the last words spoken are from Kingpin enacting martial law and giving the power to his task force. Will this be something covered in Thunderbolts, having seen it take place in New York? We have some
that's a good question.
Politics with Valentina and the courts, and it seems like they're in New York for the Avengers and stuff like that. So will that be covered? An easy way, it's like, oh, this takes place before Daredevil season 1. And I'm like,
sure.
No.
They'll say that, yeah.
Or like a Spider-Man. It's like, it's hard. It seems so impossible to not cover this in New York. And Peter Parker's in New York. He's literally a vigilante and he's outlawed. Like, if they cover that in a film, it has the potential to be really cool.
We are going to fail. We are going to fail as MCU fans and as a cinematic enjoyers if we never get a Charlie Cox and Tom Holland. I want to say movie. Like, we're going to fail if we do not get that movie.
Just like they did Deadpool, Deadpool and Wolverine is something that you're like, oh, I can't believe they did it. Give me a Spider-Man I know it's called Brand New Day, but it's like, it's a Spider-Man and Daredevil film. Like, that is
Daredevil's in that movie.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, the next one is cooked up. Like, it's apparently going to lead into the next Avengers, and I'm like, come on, let's touch on that stuff. Let's make it ground level.
Man, in another run that I read of Daredevil, like Spider-Man takes the position of keeping Matt in check. Like Matt starts to go off the rails, and Spider-Man is like a younger person whose like maturity has far surpassed Matt Murdock here, who's like saying, Matt, you need to like stay home, like don't go out tonight stuff. And it's like such good scenes. It's like we have two phenomenal actors playing these two.
Okay.
Let's make this happen. Like there's so much good story to base an MCU thing on.
Okay, we're cooking, we're brainstorming. So let me throw this too. That's the first part of it, and so they flip it. They flip it for the film because Peter Parker has nobody, he has no friends,
right.
He has no girlfriend. So who would be the one to tell him to not go off the edge? Daredevil from his experience being like, and we'll already get season 2 of Daredevil. So whatever that arc is, boom, he's good. Yeah. Daredevil's he's done it. He's won the day. But now he's with Spider-Man. He's like, look, Pete, I've had my fair share of dark days. Like, and Peter, awesome. And he gets the symbiote on him, and he goes kind of bad. It's right there. It's ready. It's ready for you.
You're set up.
We'll see.
So, wrapping up this show, Punisher is in custody of the task force. Did you watch the mid-credit scene?
Yes, I did. I always stay through, just hoping something would happen.
I had no idea there was a mid-credit scene until the next day, and I saw something on Twitter, and I was like, wait a second, I didn't see this in the show. Like, wait, what? So I waited for that night, turned on Disney Plus and watched it. And it's kind of setting up a little Punisher special presentation that John Bernthal has talked about writing and directing.
Oh, really? I had no idea. That's interesting.
He says he's written this thing for the Punisher, and he wants to do it.
Excited. A character, when you play the character for so long, you know it, and full trust for that, and nothing but excitement for what a Punisher, because like a special presentation, it could literally just be him breaking out of the ship, like a full 30-minute, just a little thing, and like he's like, I need to call up somebody. He's like, hey, Miss Jones, and he calls up Jessica Jones, and that's it.
I mean, and we know Jessica Jones will be in the next season based on set photos.
Oh, that's right, dude.
So she's there.
Oh my God, that's right. It's
Kristen Ritter.
I mean, Defenders are coming, and that's what's
This boils down to, I love Daredevil. I love these characters. Unfortunately, this show didn't do it for me. It's not like the greatest piece on these characters at all. But I was happy to watch it, and I was excited to watch it every week. That's what it is. And I'm very hopeful and excited about season 2. I'm not like defeated on this. I'm not like, oh, well, boo-hoo, season 2 is going to suck. Like, no. I'll be there. I'll be there day one for this, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I am looking forward to how much more they could make this show so much more better that we know it has. We know it could be this incredible thing. And again, I'm looking forward to the possibilities. I'm done with it. I'm done with this show. I'm ready to move on. And I had a good time. And there's so many things you can talk about with this show.
I'm sure we're going to leave this episode wanting to talk about something else that we didn't cover, but that's just the nature of it.
That's the nature of it, but it's fun to do that.
If you do think of anything that we didn't talk about in this podcast, you can jump in our Discord and we can talk about it there, which we've been talking about all sorts of stuff, all sorts of games and movies and shows. And right now, Star Wars Celebration is happening. So there's a lot of new stuff in there that we've been sharing. And so if you want to join our Discord, that'll be in the description below. You'll be probably seeing this in a couple days. So Anything else, Ryder?
No, just that. What a time for television. That's all I'll say. There's a lot of shows.
We have had good shows, a
lot of shows.
Right, this is the first time ever I've watched more shows than movies recently.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
I love movies, and I usually don't love shows, but I'm watching too many shows. Like I got to scale back. My movies are taking a hit.
Yeah, I have not been on Letterboxd. I'm logging a movie a month. Like I'm watching so many shows, all the services, just everything.
I gotta tone it down. I gotta tone it back. Yeah. We are like getting off shows though, but we do have Andor coming up next week. This
Last of Us? Are you kidding me? Like it's not stopping, bro.
At least Pit and Daredevil are done, so those are chopped off the block.
That's true. And then I'm watching the show Hacks, which is just another amazing HBO show that I'm just incredible. So for another another episode.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Please join our Discord. Follow us on social media. We have all our links below. We appreciate it. Be well. Peace out, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.